It's April 25th, 2012. Happy birthday, Vanessa. She just must be having a great day today. Um, she had her baby on the 10th, and she's a new mama. Her first birthday as a mommy. Um, so I decided to go back over John David Ebert's talk on the birth of tragedy, Nietzsche's The Birth of Tragedy. And I really enjoy it because he goes over Schopenhauer and Kant. Um, and he goes into Kant's description or discrimination between two faculties of the mind, uh, the understanding and the reason. And as I was watching this, um, I started having my own perspectives on it, and along with my other studies, I what came to mind was that at the metaphysical root of our being, uh, at the level beyond the concerns of time, that thing that informs all the forms of time, it just springs forth into time without a prime cause. There is not a prime cause to make these things happen, to make this springing forth occur. This is an important aspect because the whole crux of what I'm going through right now, stems from this idea of justice. What do we think we are justified for? Do we think there's justice in the world? Why do we have to make things seem like they're justified? Why do we have to create justice? And I think this is linked to what Kant was talking about, the understanding and the reason, and the faculties of the mind. Um, so the understanding, the way he was describing it, has to do with the conditions of time, the phenomena of time. But the reason brings a meaning to the phenomena of time and the concerns of time and the conditions of time. So there's this natural, in what I'm talking about, in the conception that I'm working with right now, things just spring forth without a prime cause. And this is important to me because a lot of the religious doctrines say that there, in the beginning there was this, and in the end there will be such and such. And this is the whole point to justice. This is what justifies everything, and brings justice. It's all interrelated, and what is right and what is wrong. It's all linked directly to the rendition of creation. The meaning of why we are here. And the purpose. So having a purpose-driven life, so to say, can be very, very dangerous because we are imprinting upon the conditions of time our own rendition of their meaning. And I've had to confront a bunch of things that brought me to this train of thought. I have had a lot of experiences that I had to try to make sense of, but being that I was relatively illiterate until I was about 30, my whole stance and posture with life is one of, well, what do I know? Um, And that stance and posture let me be less judgmental, mainly because, um, well, from a very young age, I've been very empathetic with other people, very compassionate and empathetic, so I could understand how another person was feeling and how those feelings informed their behavior, even if they were very mean. But then I would come into contact with something, this rendition of love. And, what we think love is when we're 10 and 20 is not necessarily what we think love is when we're older, say in our 30s or 40s or 50s, especially if we have a long term relationship with someone. Things grow and change. And this growth and change is also very important because in my studies of individuals I admire, many of them tap into this perspective that, what is life affirming and what is life negating? What says yes to our life and what says no to our life? And it has to do with wanting to continue to live and wanting to continue to grow and change. This growth and change, as opposed to that which does not grow and does not change and always remains the same. That which always remains the same and never changes is not growing, and if it's not growing, it's not dead. This kind of train of thought is very common with a lot of the individuals I admire, and the reason why I admire them is that they helped me with very difficult situations in my life, that I was having a difficult time coming to my own terms with. How is it that I can experience this experience and still say yes to life without condemning somebody? This is the whole point, because in my experience there was a lot of guilt, shame, and condemnation used to manipulate me, to control me by other people, and I was aware of this, but I realized that if I wanted to condemn the other person so that I could just do what I wanted, was the same thing they were doing to me. And this seemed like a cyclical train of thought, just a circle. It just a serpent eating its own tail. It just seemed to repeat the same pattern. And this is also another topic that I ran into with these individuals I admire. They had confronted this and realized, yes, there is this ever-repeating pattern, and this ever-repeating pattern can seem futile. And the feudalism, in more than one term, this futileness and feudalism, it's like being enslaved to forces that we can do nothing about. And all of this brings about my coming to terms with what do I think I'm justified in feeling. And my feelings are made sense of by my reason. And so this talk on Kant by John David Ebert in his Nietzsche's Birth of Tragedy really helped me realize that, I'm going through all the same experiences everybody else goes through, only for some reason I've been given an opportunity to really think about it and come to terms with it, come to my own terms with it. And when I try and go do other things, step away from this study, walls are erected, doors are shut in my face. I am turned inward, and there's nothing to do but continue this this train of thought, this line of study.